Good morning, my YouTube friends. How y'all doing? Today is Thursday, February 9th. Today's Transformation Thursday. Today's the day I talk about how God has been transforming me for the last week. It's funny, last week I talked about my gifts and how God is developing them. And it's funny, in that process of learning how to develop my gifts a little more, I've been listening to some DVDs by a guy who is into prophecy, who teaches people about prophecy, and his name is Graham Cook. And in one of his DVDs, he said, God has ruined him for mediocrity. I love that. I want to be ruined for mediocrity. I don't want to ever be mediocre in my walk with God. I want to excel. And excel doesn't mean that I don't have hard times. It just means that, for me, it just means that I raise the bar higher. My expectations are higher. I've always been a really goal-oriented person. I know maybe that hasn't shown through in my videos because I've been kind of wandering hard with the weight loss journey that I have shown on there. A majority of my weight loss happened before I started taping. I think I have a better handle on it now. Food is an addiction for me, and it's something I struggle with. With God's help, I have broken a prior addiction. The thing is, though, is when you're addicted to something, you're supposed to stay away from it. And once I broke free of it, my other addiction, then I don't imbibe that particular substance anymore. But you can't do that with food, and there's this weird balance. You have to have a certain level of calories on a day. I do fast on occasion, but you can't. It's like there's weird. If you don't have this problem, then you probably don't understand. But with food, with me, it's like I can't go too low and I can't go too high, and there's like this range. It's like not big. Here's the range of food, and here's the range of how much I can have. So I'm dealing with that addiction, and so for me, my performance has not been great. In general, I have very, very high expectations for myself, and God has been very gracious in the gifts that He has given me with my intellect and other things, and generally, I hit my goals. Weight loss has been my extreme failure in my life. So, the journey that I show here on YouTube is probably not particularly representative of who I am. So with my gifts, I have very high expectation of the level that I should be operating in. And for a long time, I felt like God was just saying, you need to use what you know. Like, you need to practice, and you need to absorb information, and that's what I had been doing. And now I feel more like the level of education for me is higher, and God has ruined me for mediocrity. I love that. I really, really do love that. I don't want to be mediocre. I don't think anybody wants to be mediocre. But I don't want to be mediocre in my walk with God at all, and to the extent that happens, I want to become aware of it, and I want to raise the level of my expectation, because God is the most important thing in my life. And if I'm mediocre about the most important thing in my life, then what's the rest of my life like? You know what I mean? And so, no, I want to live my life to the best. I only have a limited amount of time here on earth, and I want to do the best that I can do. That is my goal. And that is how God is changing me this week, changing my focus to how to excel. That doesn't mean that I fill every minute of every day with doing things. And in fact, I have been like actually trying to calculate my mindful minutes. The time, because you need to relax. Your body is meant to relax. I mean, when God made the earth, he made 7 days a week, and one of those days was meant for relaxation and recharging. So that's how God's changing me this week. No more mediocrity. How's God changing you this week? Let me know. I'll see you next week.